Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Impact review for I guess that would be the 17th of November 2020. Not a bad show. Impact is becoming kind of more a hit and miss kind of thing. I missed the I guess Impact Plus event over the weekend, so sorry that I didn't catch Turning Point, but championships changed hands. Joe Doring is the new enforcer for Eric Young, and they show a video recap from Turning Point. Basically, Deanna Purrazzo regaining the Knockouts title from Su Yung, Raju regaining the X Division title from retaining against Cousin Jake, Joe Doring debuting the Good Brothers, winning the Impact Tag Championships from the North, and Rich Swann successfully defending against Sami Callihan. There are things in Impact I really like. There are things I do not. I enjoy Moose. I do not enjoy Willie Mack, so the two of them in a no DQ match here as a rematch from Turning Point really doesn't do much for me. Moose beats up Mack early. It's a no DQ match. They've been feuding for a while, probably maybe a month or two. Rich Swann and is involved in that. Mack was standing up for Swann in order to make this matter. Match sees a dominant Willie Mack in the early stages. Moose cuts him off, gains control, uses more power. Moose has much more of an upside than Mack does. I get that maybe Willie Mack is supposed to be a flabby junkyard dog. I don't see what people see in the guy. He's a little charismatic, but he's not the best athlete. He can do moves, but he doesn't really get, not that there is a crowd to get, but he doesn't get a crowd really terribly involved, and I don't see it. Anyway, he Moose continues to call out Rich Swann, telling him that this is what pain looks like. Moose and Swann could be a fun mini program if that's where they're going. Mack starts a comeback, going after the shoulder of Moose. He goes for the 6-star frog splash. Moose bails out and hits the lights out, followed by strikes until the referee stops things. It's pretty short. It's to the point. Dominant win for Moose. Hopefully it goes to Moose and Swann at some point down the road. And then Josh Matthews and Madison Rayne run down tonight's card. Please, not that Josh Matthews, I think he might even have some sort of, I don't know if ownership stake would be fair, but stock or something in Impact at this point because he's been there for a while. But if Tony Khan can get him and get rid of Excalibur, I'd like that. If he can get Madison Rayne and get rid of Excalibur, I'd like that. I actually enjoy these two. Anyway, we get a final Treehouse. Radicals remembering some of their best moments in the Treehouse. And obviously they're leaving the promotion. Bravo's shooting investigation continues. The Deaners are approached by Dreamer about the gun they found at Turning Point. This storyline is just hokey. Suicide defeats Gio. Not a fan of this. Eric Young runs in with Joe Doring. They hit the ring, take both men out. Young cuts a promo saying that everything was Impact's fault for interfering with his plans because the world belongs to them. I don't even know why you put people in the ring to do this. You could have just had them come out and do a promo. Anyway, Gia Miller interviews Deanna Purrazzo with Kimberly about regaining the title. Purrazzo says this feels great. She's a 2-time champion in only 6 months. Kimberly said that tonight they're going after the Knockouts tag titles. Lights go crazy when they return, and next week, Your Time Has Come is spelled out on a mirror. Heath and Rhino are chatting backstage. Heath tells Rhino that he'd be rehabbing with Swann's doctor, and Rhino walks out and confronts Eric Young and Joe Doring, telling them that they wouldn't get away with what they've done, and they beat up Rhino, and they go after Heath. Next, this is kind of goofy. Brian Myers against Crazy Steve is kind of a throwaway. Turning Point, Myers defeats Swoggle in a singles match, but they keep attacking Swoggle after the match. Crazy Steve makes the save. Myers wants a straight, basic, collar and elbow tie-up. Steve goes at him with a crazy style. Myers is annoyed, and he works over Steve. Steve makes a comeback and almost wins the match. Myers resorts to poking Steve in the eye before hitting a lariat for the win. It doesn't really go far. I hope they have a bigger plan for Myers because he just seems to be floundering here, and I was excited to see the professional wrestler thing. The Goofy Impact Flush flashback moment of the week is Tara and Brooke Tessmacher versus Gail Kim and Madison Rayne from 2011. Can't believe that's almost 10 years ago. And that's the hype for the Impact Knockouts Championship, Tag Championship, that is. Dreamer interrogates Johnny Swinger, asks him to go over his fanny pack contents, and Swinger has a gun in there, and he said that's a gimmick, but next week Wrestler's Court is coming for Swinger. I don't even like the idea of having a gun on a wrestling show. That's just me. I never have. It doesn't fit. Anyhow, Havoc and Nevaeh defeat Tennille Dashwood and Alicia Edwards with Caleb with a K in a Knockouts Tag Team Championship first round match. Dashwood and Edwards became a tag team during the Turning Point deal after Dashwood and Grace had difficulty getting along as a team. Match is virtually the same that we've been seeing. Dashwood having trouble getting along with people but in control in the early part of the match. She tags out and leaves her tag partner high and dry. Dashwood tries to join Edwards on a double team, but Nevaeh turns it around and Edwards gets pinned by Havoc. Match is fine. The Dashwood character is not something I like. I don't necessarily think that she was a... If I'm on a budget, she wouldn't have been a hire that I put time into. Anyway, Havoc and Nevaeh advance to face the winning team of Killer Kelly and Renee Michelle versus Jordana Grace and a mystery partner. Jordana Grace is talking backstage to whoever her tag champion, her tag partner will be. Apparently this person was considering retirement. Hernandez defeats Falaba. This is a storyline I don't really care for either. These two have been feuding for several weeks now over a roll of money that was stolen from Hernandez. Match is super basic. Hernandez dominates early. Bob makes a comeback, hits a Superman splash. Hernandez eventually, cuts him off and wins with that Superman splash I mentioned before. I think I misspoke and said Bob was the giver, not the receiver of that. Anyway, the feud doesn't really work. Backstage, Rahet Raju is complaining to Scott D'Amore about being attacked by Eric Young and Joe Doring. D'Amore tells Raju that he had been approached by THP, who reminded him that no one named THP could get a title shot again. And D'Amore brought up the question of what Dusty Rhodes would do. And I don't even get that reference. We get a video package recapping the Good Brothers winning the tag team championships. Ethan Page goes to Scott D'Amore, requests that the North Tag Team Championship rematch against the Good Brothers, and basically says that Page should have to go through someone of their choosing before they could earn a title shot, and that Matthews and Rain run down some of the matches for next week, including Rich Swann and Ken Shamrock, which is a really interesting idea of something I'd like to see. Then we go to the main event. Rich Swann and Trey Miguel defeat the Rascals, Desmond Xavier, Zachary Wentz in the Rascals farewell match. Um, they have in storyline been evicted from the treehouse and they can't stay in Impact anymore. Last week they saved Rich Swann from beatdown at the hands of Callahan, Shamrock, and Chris Bay. Um, Match was really good in terms of just athletic ability. Like it was a showcase match for what the Rascals can do in terms of athletic ability. It didn't tell a story that was going to lead anywhere, obviously because they're leaving the promotion. But all four men pair off. They do fast-paced sequences and reversals. It's almost like this was a match intended for Tape to go to another promotion, try and get them a job somewhere else. That's what it really seemed like. Xavier and Wentz gain control, and they do more double team moves. They cut the ring in half, and Swann or Miguel would come out ahead and would dominate whenever the other team wasn't double teaming. All four men trade strikes, and then there's stereo super kicks, and everybody gets knocked down. Finish sees Xavier and Wentz go for a hot fire flame. Miguel managed to take down Xavier with a top rope meteora, and Swann jumps in with a shotgun super kick for the pin. Post match, all three Rascals sat in the ring and basically cry and hug each other. They celebrate in for a couple of minutes. They leave their jackets in the ring before heading to the back. Emotional stuff. Sami Callihan's backstage and Ken Shamrock's there. And Callahan and Shamrock beat them all down. Shamrock and Callahan threaten Swann to close the show. I don't know. I don't know that I'd put a team that's leaving in a main event, but it is what it is. Anyway, it's not a bad show. Still, I would say better than most Raws. And that's that. We'll be back with more right after this.